Um, you haven't taken any notes entirely, right?
Nope, I should have taken them because I noticed I do not remember where exactly the points are.
Yeah, the book has interesting division. What did you think overall?
Overall, I think I really enjoyed it, although to be fair, the entire lyric part, like it's called an American lyric.
Yeah.
I'm always garbage with lyrics and stuff, so I didn't get anything of that really. It was for me just a text.
Yeah.
And I think there are multiple sections that I just didn't understand because I was missing context. I had to Google multiple names,
Yeah, me too.
like
Like, the section where it was just commenting about different events, like I think it was the Rodney King something, and like the Trevor Martin ones.
yeah, those
Uh,
ones. Like is it Jenna 6? That was one of them as well.
yeah, yeah, like that part. Like I knew maybe some of them, but I was lost, man. I was so lost at that point.
Yeah, I was reading. I was like, wait, they literally hanged people with? No, they didn't. But well,
Yeah, and it was really recent as well, which was Jesus. Uh,
Jenna 6. What was it? 2006. It isn't that recent anymore. It's still 14 years.
21st century, man. And for me, it's like, oh yeah, hanging was in the like mid 20th century. It's like it's so fucking barbaric. Holy shit.
Yeah, but they didn't actually hang people. It was more like putting on noses on like noses. That's the English
There's
name. Nooses, yes, on trees, like basically to remind people what happened to them, and not literally hanging them.
yeah, still
Oh, still very questionable and
yeah.
very bad taste, but
No,
it could have been worse.
recently I've been watching Lovecraft Country, which is like basically like mid 50s. Okay, mid century United States with like how white people treated black people. How just terrible. So it actually matches this very thematically of just the violence and just the senseless rage against black people by the white populace.
Yeah, I have no idea actually of that
Lovecraft Country.
series. Yeah.
It's okay. Thematically, it's great, but the execution is pretty shit.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
I mean, it's only 4 episodes so far, and eh.
I really liked how Citizen highlighted basically everyday racism in the beginning,
Yeah,
like stuff that people didn't actually actively think about doing, but just did.
yeah, and
It was
how
really,
it also like uses the second person to put you in that spot.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
make it more casual. It's not like a grand thing that happens. Like, oh, it happens to you when you're grocery shopping, or it happens to you in a class.
Yeah, it's not, and it always was like most of the time, at least it felt to me like the other person isn't actually actively trying to do it. It's more like just a default,
Yeah, yeah,
at least in the beginning.
yeah, and it's just like part of the black experience of just. It's not like evil, let's say evil white people. It's just white people. And for me, when I read it, it just like felt how like it takes energy to go outside of your group. Also, like the entire book almost like showed me somewhat of my privilege, because for me, I like meeting new people, but and it's like and seeing new cultures. But when you're a black person, um, any interaction with someone outside of your group is probably going, not probably, it might result in you being denigrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
In the United
some.
States, I don't know what it is here because I never really had that sort of conversation with my black friends. Okay, no, that's not true. I did. It's mostly good. Just sometimes they have a holy shit moment. Yeah.
For me, it was more like, how many of those do I actually have those like without thinking moments as well, where I do something offensive to somebody else without realizing it just by reflex?
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah. Like
I mean,
I'm sure I did at one point. I just probably don't know.
oh, definitely. Like,
It makes you feel so bad.
yeah.
No, but like this whole book is good.
I, li- I like the examples, like in the later parts where it just goes through them.
Which ones?
Like all the examples, like the gymnastics and stuff. Basically to highlight how or why people act like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how it starts with like that sort of position of just like first placing you in the black experience and making you somewhat sympathetic and somewhat understandable to some of the frustrations. And then like later, as you said with chapter 6, that it really like illustrates some of the fear and like the anger that like can be inflicted upon you. Or that you can feel. And
Yeah,
for me, like
it's
it has a nice escalation to it. Just like it first starts with like the mundane, and then like for example Serena Williams, like it kind of ups the stakes a bit of your career might be jeopardized, and it might just take emotional toll on you, and then it finishes with, oh yeah, no, this can result in your death.
does it? I'm actually
No, I mean, yeah, because like for me, like chapter 6 went crescendos, so like showing all the basically like yeah, like being black in the United States might be a death sentence. No, not just like oh, this might make my career harder, or it might make life a bit inconvenient or very inconvenient. It's more like no, this can actually kill me.
I'm trying. Do a lot of people die in chapter 6?
No, but it illustrates it because like chapter 6, it talks about
The different people, yes.
yeah. Yeah, so it
I'd
starts with
say
the Hurricane Katrina, which yeah. What you gonna say?
yes, that, like that's more. I think that's more like more examples of people of racism at a higher level that people just look over.
I mean,
Like,
but for example, like in memory of James Craig Anderson, it's like it shows how black people die for being black, and like also like tying with the escalation. Chapter 5 is when he's talking about like someone just gets like chapter 5 is like wait no which one is the stop and frisk one?
it's as well in chapter 6.
Okay, yeah,
Like, chapter 6 is a mix of people dying and basically systematic racism against black people.
yeah. Chapter 5 is all the poetry, which I don't know much of. Yeah.
That's where notes would have been very useful.
I took some.
But no, of course I didn't take any.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for this sort of book, it's very difficult because it's so like every part is so different. So like you need to take notes specifically for each part, and you can't just take general notes.
Yeah. I should have done it, but well, stupid me.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I was misremembering the book a bit. Okay, so like chapter one is all the um. Well, chapter one is just like the personal experience. Then chapter two is Serena Williams. Chapter three is again personal experience. What's chapter four? Okay, chapter four is also personal experience. Kind of. It's more like small snippets. Okay, nice. And then chapter five is all poetry. What did you think of chapter seven?
I think that chapter confused me more than anything. I think that was where I was like, what's going on? Wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting because like for me it drew a very strong disassociation between like a spirit and the body, where um like the author didn't feel like she is the body, but she's a spirit occupying the body. And I don't know, I think I need to think about it a bit more, but I got the impression of um, like, sort of that the author like doesn't want to be black in the like black heritage sense. Okay, not black heritage of like blackness for the blackness sake. Like she more just wants to be perceived as a person, and that the blackness um, will be just a heritage sort of thing and not have any other meaning.
I don't remember enough of it to say anything meaningful.
Oh, I mean, you can
Yeah.
just like read some of it now.
I need to switch on my light because. Ow. Stuck!
Yeah. Also, it's very cerebral. Like it's also very short sentences and
I have light now.
just like waves in and out. Yeah. And also it uses the second person. Like yeah, it's yeah, like this book is very much a exercise in sympathy. Like it carries you through it. I think it really is trying to um, like make you feel what the author is feeling in a very direct way. Like literally, it's like this is what's happening to you. Feel the thing, like the certain thing, the way I feel it.
Yeah, try to make people understand.
Yeah, very effective as well. Like for example, like, when we read A Thousand Splendid Suns.
Yes?
Yeah, I think that that's the most. I wouldn't say sympathy, but like camaraderie I felt with like people from Afghanistan. Like it's
Oh,
weird,
yeah, yeah.
like intellectually, like I was always for them, but like it never like felt like any sort of special feeling apart from you're a fellow human being. But I don't know, like experiencing something that like emotionally experiencing something that they experience, kind of just created this sort of kinship.
Of course, that's understandable because, well, what do they always say? One dead person is a tragedy, a million is a statistic.
Yes.
Like, if we don't have this single person to basically use as an emotional anchor, it doesn't really work.
Yeah. Yeah, and also living in your head someone's experience. Which is what this book did in like how many pages? 40-ish? 60?
The book has like 160 pages.
Yeah, but like it's not like full print pages. It's more just
Oh, definitely.
yeah.
Some are like only 20% filled with text.
Yeah. What did you think about the combination of art?
I think most were rather fitting. Some I was like, okay, why is this here?
Yeah. Did you know them?
Nope.
Yeah, me too. I only knew the like I feel black when like thrown against a white background. I think that was the one. Wait. I can tell you which page it is. It is page 52 to 53.
Ah, that one.
Yeah. It's in the Serena Williams chapter, no?
I think that's before it because, yeah, Serena Williams should be before it.
Yeah.
That's part 3.
Oh, it's okay. I have a Kindle version, so it's a bit of a mess. Oh, you're not yet.
I mean, at least you can't forget it. And don't have to be like, oh, will the book delivery be in time, or will I not be able to read it in the train?
I mean, that's like what I sometimes do, depending on the book. Because yeah, so like my friend recommended me this book, and I was like, that sounds cool. I don't want to wait, so I just bought it on Kindle, and then I read it. I think that night. Yeah, I mean it's really short. It's
Well,
only 2 hours.
fair, as
Yeah,
long as you enjoyed it.
it's really cool
The
experience.
print,
Hmm?
I wanted to say the print version is surprisingly thick because the paper is surprisingly thick.
Like
I
gives
know that's a random
gives
tangent
it
coming in.
weight. Yeah, like yeah, the variety of different papers and books is surprisingly big.
Who decides stuff like that? I assume the publisher.
I have no idea. I think it's like pricing is involved because like you have some paper which just feels cheap, and I think that if the publisher doesn't have that much faith in the book, it's gonna print it that way. Ah, what did you think about the whole Serena Williams chapter?
I think that was a very nice example, basically a long running one. Basically similar to the Zidane one, like basically on the one side that something that can perceive as obvious racism from one side, and the other side can be like, I mean, wrong decisions happen, yada yada yada.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. It was
like
very nice, like contrast between the two as well.
again similar,
hmm? Sorry.
similar to the Zidane part in chapter 5/6. I forgot the name, number. I was actually not aware that that entire incident had something to do with racism. I was only aware of the headbutt.
Oh, wasn't it like something else? I thought it like no, because isn't Zinedine Zidane white?
I think he has some immigrant parents. I always thought he would be basically a generic French person,
Oh, okay. I
but it
might have
seems like
completely misunderstood that entire chapter. Well, that entire section. Because I took it as like a white privilege thing of like when someone disrespects you, as a white person, you can attack them and not face too big of a backlash. But if you're a black person, you don't have that privilege. So you can only like just like grit your teeth and take it.
interesting. I mean,
No, but
hmm,
it's possible that what you're saying is also true, that it's actually a demonstration of like, and sometimes you just explode and you fucking attack the person that was being a cunt.
yeah, born in France, is a Muslim, Algerian Kabila descent.
Okay, yeah. Uh,
Parents immigrated to Paris from Algeria. Because actually, I had to Google that part as well while I was reading it because I was like, wait, this doesn't make sense. Isn't he like a white French person? No.
okay, awesome. Well, no, okay, not awesome. Well, I'm gonna go to that. Uh, okay, this makes. Okay, yeah, this clears some ambiguity I had. Oh wow. Okay, so damn. Okay, so he called him big Algerian shit, dirty terrorist nigger.
I mean, as far as I know, nobody managed to record it, and that's what I assume he said due to lip reading, which, as far as I know, isn't exactly a precise thing,
Yeah, but
but doesn't
he
matter.
said something very like extreme.
There's another chapter beforehand about an instance in the United Kingdoms, a person that got shot there, where the book says that the police murdered an unarmed person. I didn't do a lot of research, I have to admit. Like, I just basically Googled it, and all I could find is that the police assumed he bought a weapon shortly beforehand, and other things that claim that he was indeed armed.
Don't remember that
Well, it's
chapter.
like,
Do you remember which chapter it was?
it's the same as the Zidane chapter. It's a big one with all the people. It's one of the, yeah, it's actually the one immediately before it,
What
in
chapter?
memory of Margaret Duggan.
Damn it, this is real. Look, it just needs to like fresh. Oh. Ah. Okay. Yeah, I knew nothing about it. Yeah, I also didn't
Now,
Google. I should have.
another thing I googled.
Okay. Yeah. I think like the other book. So like so do you want to talk about race? That's the name. Fuck.
Yes, so you want to talk about race?
Yeah. I think that would hopefully like shed some light about this stuff. Although that one is much like it is America focused, right?
Yes. How much of that book did you read?
I haven't read it yet. I've been attending to
I've
my
read
back pile. Hmm?
I have read the first 40 pages, and so far I'm like, I have problems.
In what sense?
In the sense of either my English reading capabilities decided to fucking die yesterday when I was reading it in the train, or her argumentation is nonsensical at parts.
Okay, that's not
Like,
promising.
where's the one example that I would love to use for this? It's about what is racism. It's part 2, where are you? Yes, it's basically like two definitions of racism. One being racism is any prejudice against someone because of their race, and the second one is racism is any prejudice against someone because of their race when those views are reinforced by systems of power. Sorry, what?
Yeah, okay, so like systematic racism.
Yes, but her argument is that the second one is a stronger, like the better definition because it encapsulates way more than the first one. Where I'm like, wait, what?
Hmm. Okay,
Am I not understanding English correctly?
we'll talk about it in 2 weeks.
Like, there are multiple parts where I'm just like, did you just completely move the goal post while in your argumentation? Did you just? It's annoying me. Like, I want to understand it, but I just like, I'm confused.
Okay. We'll adjust in 2 weeks once I've read it. But yeah, I'm familiar with like the racism is only racism when there's like systematic forces behind it.
But I just don't understand why it makes sense to claim that that definition is broader than the first one.
Yeah.
Where it's literally the second one is
It's more specific.
literally the first one with more specifics, yes, which is like, that's not how it works. That's not how something gets more broader with adding more conditions to it.
Maybe she meant it's better. Okay, well, when I get to that point, I'll make a note on it, but it should be a point of discussion.
And she even makes an argument with examples, and I was like, where are you going, lady?
Oh, God, okay.
Maybe again, I was in a train, right? The train was a fucking mess because, how long was I on the way?
You said 5 hours.
I was traveling for a good 7 hours
Jesus, yeah.
because literally every train, not every, the last one didn't, but most trains had a delay,
Yay.
one by 40 minutes.
Yay. Man, yeah. I applaud you for reading like that sort of book on a train. Like, I would just read a shitty sci-fi fantasy novel.
After work, I was at work for like 7 hours as well before that, so
Jesus, yeah, no, your brain is mush.
again, maybe my brain just died and it's actually completely logical. And you will tell me that I'm an idiot next time.
Oh, you can just reread it.
But I was just reading it and I was like, what the fuck? What am I not understanding?
It's fair. Like, reading non-fiction when your brain is mush is confusing. Even reading fiction when your brain is mush is confusing. Like I reread Blood Meridian recently, and I was really tired one day. I was like, I have no idea what the fuck's going on here. Okay, wait. Let's go back to the book. What was I gonna say? I don't have that many notes, so. Yeah. Um, okay, what did you think about the specific inclusion of tennis in this book?
I think it was basically just an example for a predominantly white sport with a black person. I mean, even the tennis players are, for the most part, I think, wearing white.
Oh yeah, they're tan, but they're white. Yeah.
So it's still a very, very, very. It makes it very obvious what she wants to say. Or, well, he or whatever the author wants to say.
Yeah.
Well, I assume she because Claudia sounds female.
Yeah, I think I saw a picture of her. She's a woman. Okay, I think she looks like a woman. I don't know what she identifies as. But yeah, I think a woman is a good bet. Uh, yeah, no, yeah, I agree. I think it's a very on the nose. Like even like thematically of just like with the uniforms in tennis being mostly white.
White.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect for the line of I see my blackness on a white background. Or however exactly it's named.
Oh yeah. Wait. Let's pull it. I feel most colored when I am thrown against a sharp white background. Yeah. Man, okay, so I actually have a history of competitive tennis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like actually I really like this sport and I don't really follow it like as a fan. I follow it more as a player. Um, and I wasn't aware how terrible it was for Serena to go through all this bullshit. Uh, and for me, like it felt doubly painful of just like this sport I love being uh, just like ruined by racism, and also this person who is just fantastic, just having to deal with so much bullshit. Yeah, I think maybe the inclusion of Zinedine Zidane was also there, although it was less personal, like because a lot of people really like football.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't aware of any racial backgrounds for it. I only remember, I think, watching the game, I don't know,
Yeah,
and being upset about that,
yeah, it was in
yeah.
2006. Man, it felt much more recent. Did you watch the game live?
I think I did. That was the time when I was young and stupid and liked to sit together with people and watch football.
I mean,
At
it still
least,
won't
uh,
count. It's
at least international football. I never really cared much about football. It was more like sitting together.
how dare you? You,
How
you
dare
need
you sit in?
you need to like give your German passport and nationality to the authorities.
I'm not a football fan.
Yeah. Like being German and not a football fan is a paradox.
Look, it's already a paradox enough for some people that I'm living in Dortmund and I'm not a fan of the local football team.
Yeah,
But for some people, it is a cardinal sin already.
yeah. I just got to the local pub a few times. Just pretend. So I'm looking at some of the pictures. Yeah, I really should have gotten this book in print. I think it would be better. Also, I wonder if the author got like a lecture on this book. Because the way that like she juxtaposed a lot of those pieces with the text, I don't know, it made analyzing it fun, but it felt like you're kind of just bullshitting yourself. Did you also get the same impression?
Actually, in most parts, I didn't get the feeling that there was a lot of stuff to analyze. And if there was stuff, I was, even after rereading it and thinking about it multiple times, I was like, I don't understand this.
Fair.
I mentioned I'm bad with the lyrics, so
Yeah.
I have nightmares of.
So for it was like double poeticness, and you're like, fuck this.
I still have nightmares of school when I had to analyze lyrical text.
Oh,
No, I don't want to.
I loved that shit. Yeah.
To be fair, I wasn't a fan of reading a lot of school books as well.
Yeah, because it wasn't Sanderson, and you're like, why should I care about reading this shit when I can just read Sanderson instead? Did you read Shakespeare in German literature class?
No.
I
We didn't.
God.
Not even in English.
Or did you read Faust instead?
We didn't read Faust, but I think we read stuff from Goethe. Give me a list, and maybe I remember names, because
Probably like Hess as well. What's his name? No, Hess something.
Where's a list? There's a list. I would have to look up actually what I had to read in school. That's a great sign that I.
Yeah. No, did you read stuff by Hermann Hesse?
I don't think so. No.
Yes, so he's
actually hit. I'm currently at my parents', so I can actually walk around and try to find my old school books.
Oh, neat.
Let's see what we have here. Well, Schiller, Tell, Lessing, Fontaine. That's something else. That's so fucked up that I can't read it. About the state. What?
Oh. Is this when you learned that you've been indoctrinated since you were a kid?
Oh. Cicero, the guy.
Cicero?
Well, Cicero again. What do we have here? Dürrenmatt, Andersch, whoever that is. Oh yeah, Max Frisch, Homo Faber, that book was a ride.
It's part of your heritage, man. You should know this stuff.
I mean, I could, or I just couldn't.
No, it's fine. You just embrace the inner Mormon in you.
I was horrible in school. I was like, I don't want to read this. To be fair, most school books are a bit annoying to read. There was some fun one as well, like physics, or yeah.
Oh, okay, so not the English class, the literature class ones.
I mean, it's all the German class. Literature is in German class. So it's not like there's specific literature one.
Oh, I actually enjoy it because we did read like pretty good books.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that stuff that my school me found stupid maybe could be very interesting to the now me. It's
Probably,
pretty
they choose good books, or they tend to at least. Um, yeah, like, I think like the only shit books I've read in school were the ones that like it was just choose your own book and read it sort of thing. I read Ender's Game. Wait, no, I read Ender's Game in class actually.
Huh.
Yeah. No, it's funny. Like, I think I read it in like ninth grade or 10th grade. Mainly because our teacher wanted a dialogue-driven book, and I read that book when I was 10, so it was hilarious for me to read it when I was like 15, 16.
Did your 10-year-old you to enjoy it?
Yeah, yeah.
The 10-year-old you, God damn it.
No, I was a good student. I actually enjoyed reading. I'm like the least, well, I was the least rebellious person. I think that like for me it was just like a delayed reaction. Now I'm just like bring down capitalism. Man, okay, we should go back to the book. Um,
The sad part is I don't have anything meaningful to say about it.
yeah, apart from like taking a passage and analyzing it. Uh, what's fuck? Okay, so I think that the last book, the last point, like I can, and the notes I have is, um, what do you think about like specifically the in chapter 7, with the spirits occupying a body? And I know that they said that like how it feels for me that the author like doesn't want to feel black like as an identity as much as a heritage. Um, but what do you think about it as far as a let's say like almost escape mechanism, like reprieve?
I
Like,
wouldn't go that far. I mean, I can't exactly find the point at the moment. For me, that sounds more like that color and the corresponding reaction of people is not a character trait of a person, but a trait of the body.
yeah,
If I could find it, then maybe I could.
yeah. There was a point where also I should have taken a note in it. Oh yeah, so when you lay your body in the body, enter as if skin and bone were public places. When you lay your body in the body, enter as if you're the ground you walk on. It's yeah, it's like no memory should live in these memories, becoming the body of you. Yeah, it's yeah. For me, like it gave like an idea of oh god, what's the philosophical term?
That
Anime?
sounds like being. Sorry, what?
No, it's society.
For me, that sounds more like a person getting basically forced into the racial stereotype and being formed by it due to the external society.
Yeah, yeah, and
Like,
like then like the society like imposing certain traits and like nature onto that person.
yes, and molding it, yes.
Mm.
Although, why the ground you walk on? Basically, maybe that what is expected of a black person is would turn into this characteristics of the person as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Anything else you want to say?
I need to be better prepared
Yeah.
for serious
No,
books.
no, I think that this is going to be very good in 2 weeks because when we tie it with the, if you want to talk about, so you want to talk about race, Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually reread the passage and a few of parts after the one I mentioned to you. It's not exact. I think I misunderstood a bit of it. It's not like one of them is more inclusive. It's more like the other one puts more focus. I think is what she's trying to say. Although she failed with it. Oh well. Maybe I don't want to reread everything already. I should.
No, it's fine. Like, I can reread it and save, I think, the same thing.
I mean, if the basics of the book trying to explain to you what you should expect don't work, I think I will just get more irritated with the remainder of the book. It's basically the groundwork. I
Yeah.
should reread it,
Yeah,
yes.
from like browsing some of the chapters, um, it seems I don't know. Like, what did you get? What sense do you get? Like the book was trying to do.
It's trying to build up on every chapter. Like, what it's trying to do is basically highlight failures of people of
Yeah.
how talking about race can get uncomfortable for
Um,
basically the affected person,
yeah.
how to circumvent stuff like that.
Oh, it's like microaggressions, cultural appropriation. Oh, cultural
Yes,
appropriation is gonna be a fun one.
actually, I should look at what the chapter names are.
Yeah. Yeah, like you're talking about chapter 2. It's like what is racism?
Yeah, but I started at chapter 3, that's how far I got. So, not really far.
It's interesting. Like, do you know the book Bad Feminist?
No.
It's basically a collection of essays, not all relating to feminism, but uh, like it kind of like endorses the idea of you don't need to be perfect, uh, like in the way that you behave, as long as you just like you're trying like to go in the go in the right direction and like are self-critical. And I wonder if this book will endorse a similar approach with race.
I mean, it's very much like, you are going to fail the first time you're trying to talk about race badly.
Hmm.
So, you just have to keep trying.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to choose the next book now? Actually, I'm gonna pause.